Hey, good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, April 20th. Mr. Coates right back here, ready to teach you some more about fractions. But let's go through our learning targets today. Math board, you're going to get back in there. Please do a couple facts levels. Remember, 5 pieces of data. You can go on to the next level. I'll show you how to do that, okay? IXL, we're going to make equivalent fractions today. That's our lesson. And in iTunes, we're going to be focusing on erosion today. Okay, in Math Board, you're going to want to get into your facts levels. Here's how you change it. Right here, you want to go to your minimum and your maximum. Change those to your next level. Hit your presets. You want to delete the old one and add a new one. Here, you're going to name it your facts 3 through 6. Click OK. After you click OK, hit done. Make sure it's facts 3 through 6 here. And click done, and you're ready. The focus of today's lesson will be making equivalent fractions. You've heard me say the word equivalent before in class, just a math term that means equal. For example, when we made fraction cards, we made this card here, and on our fraction card we labeled it 1/2. And then we made a fraction card like this one over here, and we labeled it 2/4. Now if you look at these, the amount that we're shading is exactly the same amount. So these are known as equivalent fractions. Here's another one. We have more equivalent fractions, just using a different way of displaying them, using a circle or a pie chart. So in this first one, we have 3 out of 4 shaded, and that is actually equivalent. You can see the same amount is shaded as 6 out of 8. Back to the first one. What makes 1/2 equivalent to 2/4? Well, in the mathematical equation, we can do an operation where we multiply the denominator or double the amount of denominator that we have. Here we have 2 parts, so we're going to take those 2 parts and double the amount by multiplying times 2, which would give us 4 parts. Now, in order to do that, we must keep things equivalent, so therefore we must also multiply the numerator times 2. And if you see here, 1 times 2 produces a 2. 2 times 2 produces a 4. These are exactly the same amount. 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2. I'll show you one more time using the pie diagram. Here we had 3/4. We want to show that that is equivalent to 6/8. Again, we actually just doubled the denominator in order to make this equivalent. We first had 4 pieces of pie. We doubled the amount to 8 pieces. So 4 pieces was our denominator. We doubled the amount, which then became 8 pieces. So in order to keep a fraction equivalent, we must also keep the numerator equivalent. 3 times 2 would then give us the 6 here. So over here we have 3 parts shaded out of 4. That is equivalent to 6 parts shaded out of 8. So in IXL today, you're going to have example questions like this. Use the models to complete the equivalent fractions sentence. The colored pieces in each model show parts of the whole. So what they're saying here is this pie is one whole pie, and this is also one whole pie. But you can see this pie is cut into 2 parts. Therefore, we have a denominator of 2. 1 part is shaded, so we have 1/2 of this pie shaded. Over here, this pie is cut into 8 equal pieces, so we're working with eighths over here. But as you can see, the same amount or the same region is shaded. We also have a 1/2 over here, but this 1/2 we can name as 4/8. So in IXL today, right in this section, you would just type 4 and explain that 1/2 is equal to 4/8. Now mathematically, you would multiply by 4. So 2 times 4 gives you the 8. Keeping things equivalent, you would also multiply the numerator. 1 times 4 makes 4. Okay, another example here. We have another pie that is cut into 6 pieces this time. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are shaded. So in here, we're going to label this as 4. And if you could look over here, this one is cut into 3 parts. Therefore, we have a denominator of thirds. 2 of them are shaded. So is 4/6 equivalent to 2/3? Let's take a look at this mathematically. 4/6 is equal to 2/3. Now in this case, we're not going to multiply. We can actually divide to keep things equivalent. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And keeping things equivalent, we want to do the same as the numerator. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Another example, what's the opposite of division? It's multiplication. So I just took 2/3 and showed that it's equal to 4/6. And if you want to multiply, you can. 3 times 2 equals 6. 2 times 2 equals 4. All right, we have two more models. Pies that are cut into 10 parts and a pie that's cut into 5 parts. So we have tenths and fifths. Here in our tenths, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths is equivalent to 3/5. Let me write that out. 6 tenths is equivalent or equal to 3/5. Now, in order to go from a tenth to a fifth, I'm going to divide by 2. And keeping things equivalent, I'm going to take 6 and divide it by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. One last example here. I am looking at a fraction that is labeled 6/8 here. 6 out of 8 parts are shaded, so we've got 6/8, and that is equivalent to how many fourths? Well, that's equivalent to 3/4. But let's mathematically show 6/8 is equal to 3/4. And again, we're going to divide this 8 into 2 parts, making just 4 parts. Keeping things equal, we're going to do the same with the numerator. So you'll have example problems just like this in IXL's lesson today. Good luck, and if you have questions, please put them in Google Classroom and I will answer them best I can, okay? When you get to science today, remember science is going to be in iTunes U, so go ahead and go into iTunes U. Going to go into Earth Systems, which is this one right here with the fossil of a fish, 4th grade Earth Systems. We've done some fossils, we've done some Earth features. Today we're going to look at weathering and erosion. I'm going to go into learning about weathering and erosion, and I want you to check out anything that you find interesting here. Check them off as you learn and read or watch anything about erosion today. All right, you guys, those are your targets once again for Monday, April 20th. Math board, facts levels, IXL, you're learning about equivalent fractions. And in iTunes U, today's science is about erosion.